Welcome to this guide on how to catch squid. There are no size limits on squid in Queensland, but in New South Wales there is a possession limit of 20. Squid are invertebrate animals whom are outstanding hunters with supreme eyesight. Whether you are targeting them for their outstanding table qualities or using them as bait to try and convert to a kingfish or snapper, there is no denying their quality. Squid are sight hunters and use those large, well-developed eyes with great effect to seek out their prey of small fish, other squid, and prawns. They have 8 arms split into pairs of 2 and 2 long, thin tentacles, each with many suckers attached. When severed, the arms of or tentacles of a squid do not grow back. Squid have a longish mantle or body that varies in size, color, and width with the species of squid. This unique species has 3 greenish-colored hearts, which are used to circulate blood around its body. The mouth of a squid contains a sharp, horned beak used for dissecting its prey. Squid also have limited hearing abilities and live for only 1 to 2 years. There are thought to be over 500 species of squid in existence worldwide, and to survive on Earth for over 500 million years. In this time, many adaptations and behaviors have had to be developed to ward off predators and catch their prey. The main types of squid encountered in southeast Queensland are the smallish arrow squid and the larger, up to around 1 kilogram, and fatter tiger squid. Squid have many predators such as whales, dolphins, other squid, seabirds, and fish. They swim together in schools and can use their jet propulsion to quickly scoot backwards away from predators at speeds of over 50 kilometers per hour. When swimming in dark or murky waters, squid use their secondary sensory system that is made up from micro hair cells running along their head and arms. Swimming animals create a wake which squid can detect, sending a signal to determine water flow, which then enables the squid to work out where the predator or prey is coming from. Squid expose and contract their muscles to aid in camouflage and to eliminate silhouettes. They can squirt a cloud of ink in the path of a predator to act as a smokescreen to prevent attacks and aid in escape. Squid can also use this cloud of ink to create a blob which confuses its attacker. The ink blob will be roughly the same size and shape of the squid, prompting the attacker to waste time pursuing the ink blob, allowing the squid valuable time to escape danger. The traditional Japanese method, or eging, is something that has been transferred around the world as the best method of catching squid. It involves using a sinking cloth-covered prawn-like imitation lure with 2 sets of ringed barbless spikes attached to the bottom of it. The aim is to present the jig to the squid by casting and allowing the jig to reach the bottom before violently imparting 1 to 2 or 3 to 4 sharp hops onto the lure, before slowly retrieving line and letting the lure sink back down to the bottom. The Italian word of calamari is a popular and frequently used term when describing squid when it is being served up at restaurants or takeaway eateries. My favorite means of cooking squid is to soak the rings in milk or kiwi fruit juice to tenderize before shallow frying in a pan. To clean and prepare the squid, you will need to remove the head and insides of the cephalopod before cleaning and slicing the bare hood into rings. After this, dip the rings into an egg wash before coating with self-raising flour, salt, and pepper, and finally fry quickly in the pan for a minute or so. A 1,000 or 2,500 sized reel with 6 to 10 pound braid is sufficient for squidding or eging. Tie your jig to a 2 to 5 kilogram graphite with a rod length of equally matched fluorocarbon leader with a loop knot, and attach the fluorocarbon with the FG knot or equivalent. Your drag should be set so that when you rip your jig through the water, you can hear lines slightly pulling through. You could go nuts with purchasing every color and brand, but I find that some simply outperform others. Remember that squid really only see gray as they are colorblind. With this in mind, think about red UV jigs at night and silver UV throughout the day. You will need a white, pink, pink and orange, fluoro green, purple and gold, and an orange jig. Grab glow-in-the-dark or UV Lumo jigs for night and buy a few natural-colored prawn jigs with soft plastic legs for when the water clarity is exceptionally clear. Natural fish imitation jigs are also good to have in colors such as blue. Yamashita, Shimano, Daiwa, Fish Candy are all brands I use. Better brands usually have a better action, last longer, and can often be more snag resistant. Two ways to catch squid are through the use of a prawn or fish imitation style jig with a double set of circular barbless hooks and, again, a set of circular barbless hooks with a bait spiked from mouth to tail and tied onto the eyelet. The hot topic with squidding is the color and type of the jig. With so many styles and colors on the market, anglers are spoilt with choice. Success rates will vary with bait in the water, conditions such as time of day, water clarity, etc. In the majority of situations, use a size 2.5 to 3 squid jig to begin with, or shift to heavier models for really deep water so that the sink rate is increased. The most basic and common method of eging will require the angler to cast out near their desired structure, the closer the better. Allow the lure to sink before imparting a quick 1 to 2 hop rod lift or a 3 to 4 hop lift in deeper water. As squid reside on the bottom, the jig must come into contact with the bottom as indicated by a belly in your line. When your lure hits the bottom, it will be obvious as the line itself will go slack. It is important to remember that the jig will rise quicker the closer it is to the angler. If you get a follow, make sure that you cast out the jig again and let it sink down to the bottom, as squid will often become nervous or anxious to hit a lure on or near. Squid will attack the jig and latch on using their tentacles, particularly the leader tentacle. Once they have a firm grip on the jig, they will use their jet propulsion to quickly swim backwards. This will cause the line to tighten and you will feel a dead weight on your line. Often at first, it may feel like a snag. Wind the squid in steadily, but firmly ensuring that there is no slack line, and exercise caution when lifting the squid onto the rocks, land, etc. or boat. Aim the squid away from you until it has dropped its ink before pulling in a board, netting, or using a squid gaff. When targeting squid at night, either land-based or in a boat, you will need to get close to holding structures such as rock walls, weed beds, or jetties and pylons. Use a torch or headlamp to locate squid either on the surface or deeper down. Once you have found the target, you must take action quickly, as you will only have 10 to 15 seconds to get the jig in the wader and close to the squid. If the squid is sitting on the surface with its lead tentalas or candles extruded, you will often have a difficult time getting it to take the jig. Squid in this position have usually just fed and are resting. Dead sticking a squid jig over weed beds, gravel patches, and reef whilst drifting in a boat can be a highly effective method of angling for squid. Equally, a simple slow retrieve can work on any given day. Baits such as pilchards, mullet, yakas, slimies, and whiting spiked onto a blank extended style of jig from head to tail can also be used. This was a more traditional mode of catching squid that is still sometimes used today. Predominantly a winter species in SEQ, squid vary in numbers from year to year. Squidding on the high tide is a constant and key takeaway that must be absorbing when targeting the cephalopods, as the water is usually clearer, and the higher water level allows the squid to target prey that is otherwise unexposed. Nighttime. Low light periods of first and last light combined with a high tide make for an excellent starting point for targeting squid. Squid will come to the surface at night to search for food, whereas in the daytime they will hold around structure. Windy conditions, over 15 knots, make eging difficult. Avoid these times if possible. Squid love structure such as rock walls, rock bars, reef, gravel, bridge pylons, jetties or wharves, coffee rock, and weed beds. Mouths of rivers a great starting point, as the rock walls are easily accessible to the land-based angler. When fishing rock walls, you must flick your squid jig in tight, as squid will often dwell within the rocks themselves and come out seeking prey. Squid will follow a jig from the shallow cover and protection this structure, so when fishing from a boat, positioning is crucial. They reside on the bottom and camouflage well with their surroundings, as they are prey to many fish species. Areas such as the Seaway rock walls, wave break walls, around Manly, Peel Island, Cuchimudlo Island, Redland Bay, and Macleay Island hold good numbers of squid. Let the squid drop its ink before bringing ashore or in the boat. Scoop the squid up in a net when fishing from a boat, but make sure that you do this from behind if possible, or they will empty their ink sac straight at you or your boat. Use rechargeable batteries for your headlamp. Dispatch the cephalopod with a squid spike. Spike the fish a few times above the eye, and it will soon turn white. When handling, grab the squid behind its head. Squid are attracted to light, as it is in these areas that small bait fish will congregate and become prey. Find well-lit areas around jetties, piers, or rock walls to target squid. Turn the squid jig upside down to easily release the squid back into the water. In windy conditions, keep your rod tip low to minimize the amount of slack line being blown about. This will make it easier to check for strikes. Check for ink patches around wharves and jetties as a telltale sign that the squid are around. If a squid is hooked, it is a great idea to simultaneously get another jig into the water ASAP, as there will often be sight followers. Use polarized sunglasses to increase your vision in the water when eging during daylight hours. Check the barbs on your jig regularly, as these can bend, particularly if you hit a few rocks. Eat the wings and tentacles of the squid, they are great. Strong headlamp is a must-have when targeting squid at night. Target squid in the winter months when the water is cold and clear. Squid love clear water, so check water clarity before heading off. Use small jigs and try a variety of colors: natural, bright, and lumo. Use lumo jigs at night. You must throw your jigs around cephalopod holding structure such as rocks, reef, or weed beds. When squidding around rocks, the closer your jig gets to the rock, the more chance you have of catching one. Keep a strong eye out for follows, and be ready to pop the jig straight back down. When you do get a follow, make sure that you send the jig back down to the bottom, as they won't often hit a jig near the surface due to becoming nervous or anxious. Rather, allow the lure to sink back to the bottom before imparting aggressive hops. Start with natural colored jigs in size 2 to 3. Employ a slow, steady, and smooth retrieval when hooked. Win the squid and firmly and consistently avoid erratic actions.